This episode is sponsored by Auto Trader. See a car in a movie you just watched?
Well, you can find it on Auto Trader. Shop millions of new and used cars on Auto Trader.
Welcome to Ear Biscuits, the podcast where two lifelong friends talk about life for a long time. I'm Link.
And I'm Rhett. This week at the round table of dim lighting, we're going to be answering some of your questions, including, just a little tease here, what are we going to do if one of us passes?
Yeah.
The baton of life.
What would we do within the context of Good Mythical Morning?
Yeah.
If one of us dies.
Yeah.
So we might get morbid, or maybe we'll crack the code.
Why don't we start with something more lighthearted?
Okay. Yeah. Let's hear a voicemail.
Hey, Rhett Link. It's Gracelyn again. I'm the caller who left the voicemail about the dyeing of Rhett's hair. Since y'all were asking, I wanted to say that I'm from Kentucky, not Alabama.
Okay.
I'll try not to be offended. But I wanted to thank y'all for the compliments on my accent. It just made me so happy because I did not realize that I sounded like Colonel Sanders until I heard it play back. So I appreciate y'all not calling me a hick. This leads me to asking about your all's lack of the North Carolina accent.
Oh.
Link, your dad just has the most beautiful Southern dialect. So I'm just wondering where y'all's went and if you're happy that it's gone. Okay, thanks again. Love you guys.
Our lack of the North Carolina accent, I like it a lot. I like it
Gracelyn,
so much.
thank you for gracing us with your wonderful voice. Once again,
We might play all your voicemails.
It's
just
just
to hear
as
your
good
voice.
as it was the first time.
Kentucky, not
Kentucky.
Alabama.
I gotta say, I'm not good at picking up on the distinct differences of Southern accents. There are some people who are really good at that
Yeah.
and would be like, why would you guys
You
say
don't need to be good
Alabama?
at it.
She's so obviously Kentucky. Speaking of North Carolina, before we get into why we do or don't talk the way that we do, we had somebody, who was it that was telling us about, there's a documentary, either it's a documentary or it's just a YouTube video where a guy is going through, Mike was telling us.
Oh, Mike was telling, it's a woman who's a dialect expert who goes through.
In North Carolina, as
different
we
dialects.
have said many times, you know, it's a special place, not just because we came from there, but there's something about the geography of North Carolina and sort of the mountains to the Piedmont to the beach that has created this striation
Pockets. Yeah.
of
Pockets
all
and
kinds
layers
of things.
of
Not culturally,
accents.
barbecue sauces, as we've talked
Yeah, that's
about,
true.
but also these different accents. And it might be one of the most linguistically unique places in the United States for sure, maybe the world, and where people talk in these very distinct ways that even us, from being from North Carolina, wouldn't necessarily be able to pick up on. We can, oh, that's different, but I don't necessarily know that I would know that this person is from the mountains, this person's from the beach, but they are super distinct.
Yeah, for me, it's like if you have family members that live in different parts and they get together for the family reunions, I'd be like, well, you sound like my Aunt Virginia. You sound like my Uncle Willie.
Uncle Willie.
Uncle Willie's from Virginia.
Oh, he's drunk
my
again.
Aunt Virginia. Well, hold on now.
Uncle
You
Willie's drunk
don't know,
again.
You don't know about my Uncle Willie, do you?
Oh, is he drunk
Well,
again?
come on now. I was talking about real people.
Oh!
Come on, Rhett.
Did I hit too close to Uncle Willie's home?
Well, he passed away.
Okay,
recently.
so was, how?
He wasn't a drinker.
He wasn't. Okay.
He was one of Nanny's brothers.
Okay,
Um,
good for him. I mean, for not drinking, not for passing away.
but his dad was.
I knew I was getting close to something.
Yeah. Anyway, that's how I know. It's like, wow, I get together with these people and they sound different. They got some Neils down there at the beach. You know, not hoy-toydas.
Hoy-toydas is really specific. It's
But,
like an island or something. But the long eyes, that's something that starts happening when you like something, you like it a lot. That wasn't something that, there were certain long eyes that we would do, but then we never said bright light. Like,
No.
even you, when you were your most
Bright.
Southern.
Bright light.
How would you have said it?
Light.
How would you have said it in
Light.
like
I might have
third
said
grade?
light. I might have said light.
But bright light. I remember my mom
I don't know.
specifically, who you've heard
might have
mom and
said
dad.
bright
You've heard
light.
mom and dad talk, and she's made appearances on Good Mythical Morning. She has a very strong Southern accent, but it's a strong Southern accent in the context of the world and the United States, and people kind of being like, "Oh, she talks like she's from the South."
Yeah.
But in her mind, and also in my mind growing up, she talks so much less Southern than the people that were getting to know when we had moved from Georgia to California and then to North Carolina. And that she would be like, that she would make fun of the way people talked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because
she made fun of the way that I talked
to your face.
as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't make fun of me. She thought it was cute.
She thought it was
and
cute,
amusing.
and she would want you to talk like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had it pretty bad. And then when we like dig up these old cassette tapes of us in middle school, we have an old episode of Good Mythical Morning where we played the cassette tapes that I still had. And we were talking our voices are so high.
Well, we were doing an impression of Minnie Pearl at one point. But no, by middle school, I would say we were basically the same level. Like when I came from California, I talked like I was from California, but very quickly, because of the age that you move, it has such a influence on the way you talk. And you kind of lessened it a little bit. We kind of met in the middle, and we basically talked like everyone that we knew growing up talked like in high school, middle school, high school.
Yeah.
And then
it was a strong accent.
It began to be chipped away. So let's talk about
going to college chips it away.
But I wouldn't say that we don't have a Southern accent. Some people, if you're from the South, you don't think we have a Southern accent, maybe. But if you're just from the world, from somewhere else, you're like, when people do impressions of us, they do a Southern accent. Like if Smosh, if the people over at Smosh decide that they're going to do a Rhett Link impersonation, they're gonna put on long hair and a beard for me and use a Southern accent. They're gonna put on glasses and a wig for you and do a Southern accent, because we have a little bit of a Southern accent.
I think that the happier we get, the more Southern comes out.
That's true. And the madder.
And
the more anything.
When you really get more expressive,
right,
the more it comes out. Or if you're talking with someone like my dad on Dispatches from Myrtle Beach, I'm sure it comes out more over there. But when I'm just calm, cool, and collected, this is how I talk. But if I get excited, it's going to start to get more Southern. Making videos and watching them back, watching ourselves back.
That does it.
Is the biggest influence. You can't hear yourself again and again and again. And you're like, man, I say that way. This is how I sound. You get over the thing that everybody experiences, especially pre-social media, video phone days of like, oh my gosh.
I sound like Colonel Sanders.
That's how I sound, But you get over that quickly and you move to, well, how do I start to change that?
But
it wasn't a calculated decision.
It's not a conscious process.
It was a subconscious decision.
It is, let's just be honest, for anyone who takes the edge off of their regional accent, and this happens to people from the Midwest, it happens to people from New York, it happens to anyone who has a distinct accent or dialect in the United States. You do it because subconsciously there's a little bit of shame around sounding like you come from a certain place. There is.
Okay,
and it's
shame. That's a strong word. Can it just be judgment, or like you're trying to you
slight embarrassment? I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's a good thing,
or just an understanding and awareness that it is going to shape how people interpret you as a person.
I think that there is something. Maybe shame is too strong of a word, but what I'm saying is that I think that we have a natural aversion, or some people have a natural aversion, you and I are two of those people, from people immediately being able to tell where you're from. And I'm not saying I know why. And I think some of it has to do with the fact that you're presenting yourself as, what we were presenting ourselves as, like, we weren't presenting ourselves as guys from the South. It wasn't like being from the South was not a conscious part of whatever we were projecting as a comedic personality.
Right. Like if you look at a Theo Vaughn, you know, it's like, all right, this is part of my persona. I'm leaning into this.
And I also think times have changed.
Yeah, if we were just starting out now, we'd probably see it as a asset.
Yeah, isn't it weird? No conscious calculation of any of this stuff.
Just afraid that people might think you're not quite as smart as them.
Right.
Or as well-rounded, or have as much cultural exposure, or be associated with a certain set of beliefs that they might disagree with. There's all these things floating around in the Southern stigma.
I mean, when I go back to North Carolina now and I talk to my relatives who are kids, nieces, nephews, or whatever. Now, none of them grew up as far out of town as we did, but no one has a Southern accent. They all just.
Oh, really?
No, none of my nieces and nephews have a Southern accent.
Okay, my nephew, like Christy's sister, and like, so that I mean, well, first of all, Christy still has a strong Southern accent, and it's like very Kinston.
Mm-hmm.
And, she's never been on a lot of videos or recordings, and she's been happy with the way that she sounds. And I think if that's not the reason she's not on recordings, because she don't want people to hear her accent. I think she's very comfortable with it. Jesse also has a strong Southern accent. Very different. And I don't know. I feel like she has a broader range of like where her voice goes. But Chrissy's is pretty, like every time we talk to a stranger, they always ask, where are we from? Every single time that they have an interaction with her.
If Jesse's with me, her accent is not as strong as Christy's, but sometimes I'm like, I don't hear Jesse's Southern accent at all, but people never ask where I'm from. People always ask where she's from.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, we're from the same place.
Right. That's because we're so self-aware.
There's a personality element to it. There's a media aspect to it. There's also a personality aspect to it, which some people are more likely to be like, okay, I'm with these people. I'm going to talk in this way. And I'm not proud of that aspect of my personality. I try not to do that maybe as much as I used to.
Chameleon.
But first of all, it's a very Enneagram 3 thing, not a positive aspect of Enneagram 3. Well, there's a positive aspect, which is like, you can make people like you, right? You can relate better, whatever, Politicians tend to do this if you watch them at different places based on wherever they're at the time, right?
They adopt a little bit of the accent.
They lean into, who am I talking to here?
Yeah.
And so obviously it raises flags of, is this person genuine? And so I think there's something super admirable about someone who's just like, I always talk this way regardless of where I am. But I also, not just because I am one of these people, but also because I understand that the process is not a conscious thing. It's not like, oh, I'm going into this situation, I'm going to talk differently. Like the fact that I adopted a strong Southern accent very quickly after having adopted a super SoCal accent when I was 5 years old, which is crazy. I moved to California when I was like 4, 5, and 6, and we've got recordings of me and Cole, and the way we talk was like two kids from Thousand Oaks, California in the early 80s.
Dude, rad, brah.
Did
you like that?
No, it was just
Not
like
surfer.
It wasn't, no, I don't even think I could do an impersonation of it, but it didn't sound Southern at all. My mom was very upset about it. I remember her, like maybe even to the point of crying about the fact that her kids weren't gonna have a Southern accent. But then to move to North Carolina and immediately assimilate, I am an assimilator. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm more likely to be like, okay, I'm going to talk that way now because I'm with these people. And it's not a conscious process. But now I feel like first of all, it happens much more readily when you're younger. When you get older, I kind of think if I were to move, it doesn't matter where I go now, I'm probably gonna always talk this way. If I were to move to Europe, I probably wouldn't get a European accent. I probably would just talk the way that I talk now because your brain changes and you become less receptive to
I think that's true for me unless I move back home. I mean, I'd start to slip back into it. I think I'm slipping back into it more on camera. Because I think we're more comfortable and it's less polished. So I'm proud of it.
Yeah, we do a lot more of just us being ourselves versus maybe early videos, before GMM especially, like really early days.
Yeah, thinking about where I'm gonna put my hands.
It was everything was super scripted.
Right. But you look at all that, man, I need to figure out where I'm gonna put my hands. I just saw where I put my hands and I didn't like it. I mean, it's not like they were down my pants or anything. It's just, it was awkward. That's all I'm saying. But if I call customer service and try to get something that I need taken care of, you best believe I'm gonna be on my best customer service voice behavior.
I love listening to my mom talk to somebody on the phone.
Like a customer service or
because the way, and I've heard your mom do this too, not necessarily customer service.
Sure.
But the words that they choose to change to sound what they think is sophisticated, but then all the other words that don't get changed, the words that get changed.
I have a query for you about my phone warranty.
It's like if my mom, she would be like, my phone number is 555, and I'm like, hold on, Mom, that's not how you say 5. They'll understand you if you just stick with the way you say it. They will.
Your mom's got a television phone number?
Yeah, 555. My mom's number is 555-5555. You didn't know?
I didn't know that.
I thought it was in your phone.
That's cool. Man, I hate it when you gotta say the number on a television show and they gotta say the 555. That really bumps me.
Yeah.
Oh, this is make believe.
They don't do it as much anymore. A lot of times they just get a Google number now. Like that's what we do a lot of times.
555? No.
Google number.
I'm proud of my accent. I'm bringing it back out. I'm gonna just lay it out there. That wasn't it. That was never my accent.
I think your accent is what you're doing right now. My accent is what I'm doing right now.
Okay, there it is.
It's a little bit of an accent.
Go to votelikeabeast.com. We have created a website where you can learn everything you need to know about your registration, how to do it, how to vote by mail, how to get all of your ducks in a row, connecting you to resources to get you connected with what matters to you and so who you want to vote for.
Yeah, it's not just about the registration process, which obviously if you're not registered, you should register to vote.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got tools there for you to figure out what the candidates in your area actually think and what, based on what you think about these different policies, what are their policies? So you can begin to make connections between your values and how that reflects in a vote. VoteLikeABeast.com.
VoteLikeABeast.com. Ear Biscuits is supported by Rosetta Stone.
I've done some traveling this year, and every time I travel, I am reminded at how many languages I don't know.
Most of them, in fact.
Yeah.
In comes Rosetta Stone, the most trusted language learning program available on desktop or as an app that truly immerses you in the language you want to learn.
They've used trusted experts for 30 years with millions of users in 25 languages offered, including but not limited to Spanish, French, Italian, German, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, and Arabic.
Rosetta Stone immerses you in many ways and is designed for long-term retention. For example, it has no English translation, so you really learn to speak, listen, and think in that language.
And their built-in true accent feature gives you feedback on your pronunciation, so it's like having a personal trainer for your accent.
Plus is an amazing value. A lifetime membership has all 25 languages for any trips and or language needs in your life. That's lifetime access to all 25 language courses Rosetta Stone offers for 50% off. That's a steal.
Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. For a very limited time, you can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. Visit rosettastone.com/ear.
That's 50% off unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 50% off at rosettastone.com/ear today. All right, let's hear another VM.
Hey, Rhett Link and everyone at Mythical. This is Hope from Indiana. I'm a surgical technologist. I just wanted to pop in and say that it's not completely unrealistic that Link's uvula got removed, got burned off during surgery. Electrocautery is used a lot during operations, safely, of course. But yeah, love you guys so much. Everyone at Mythical, keep doing what you do.
Thank you. See, I told you, man. My uvula used to be so big.
That's not a strong endorsement.
What?
I think the exact words were, it is not completely unrealistic. I mean, like that's, if I'm a betting man and somebody says, well, it's not completely unrealistic that a bear could serve you a ham sandwich today. Then I would be like, well, but it's probably not.
But it happened to me, man. It's my story.
No, this is, I will say that this leads me to believe that it is not completely unrealistic that this was just all in your imagination.
What? Huh?
No, it is possible.
No, it happened.
It definitely lends credibility to your story, I will say that.
Okay. I don't know what it's gonna take, but
let me see it again.
Let's get some more voicemail. It's short, man. That thing used to be.
And how long was it?
Oh, it was so long. It was draping down. I mean, about halfway to my tongue.
Do you recall when you were looking back at your uvula?
I told you.
After that, you would see it. It was literally like it. Oh, they burned it. Like, did you remember seeing it burned, or is it just suddenly shorter?
It was shorter.
I don't know.
I was put under. I came back out. Everything back there was like burnt. It was like Mordor back there.
Do you think they did it on purpose? They were like, oh, this one's too long.
Maybe they did me a favor.
Like, this one's definitely too long.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah,
need
I
this.
think so.
He might choke on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thank him for it. But apparently Rhett is not convinced, so I need another voicemail. It's like I need a voicemail from my actual ENT at the time.
From the actual doctor. I mean, if this was a court case, I would just say, I have not been convinced beyond a reasonable doubt. But now we might have a hung jewelry. We may have hung jewelry in my mind.
I don't know. Jenna, you still got your uvula?
I do.
There's something you're missing now, though. You recently underwent a surgery.
Yeah, there is something. It's something that wasn't supposed to be there.
Right.
Yeah, I had a cyst removed from my ovaries. So different.
From both of them?
From one ovary, but then when they were in there, they discovered a lot of endometriosis. And some of the endometriosis is like scarring that happens as you like release your, eggs and stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's extremely painful.
Is the scarring process from the natural process of shedding unfertilized eggs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
It's not great. It explained the excessive amount of pain I was in because it was also like
I'm glad it wasn't us.
Yeah, some of the scarring was on my a uterine nerve of mine.
So.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did they do for that?
They burned it out. Speaking of burning it all.
There you go.
Yeah, they did laparoscopic and removed the cyst, and then the doctor, when they're in there, of course, found the endometriosis because that's not something that shows up on ultrasounds or anything. You actually have to have surgery for it to be discovered.
So they cauterized the scarring
Yeah, they burned all that away. Yeah.
Well, doesn't that make more scarring?
It makes the better scarring.
Makes better
Controlled
scarring.
scarring.
Yeah.
And what about the nerve? Did they burn a nerve?
No. Mm-mm. My nerve, it's feeling good.
But you are feeling better.
Yes.
You're not in pain.
Yeah, only the normal amount of monthly. Yeah.
The
Okay.
normal amount of monthly.
It's not every day thinking
Yeah.
I'm going to throw up because things hurt so bad. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it.
I'm doing great.
So how big was the incision?
It was laparoscopic, so super teeny.
For your lap?
Yeah, specifically.
Is that what that means?
Laparoscopic just means that it's like tiny incisions, and then they kind of inflate the area. But yeah, there's like a little tiny incision that went into my belly button, and then another teeny one closer to like my ovary, uterus, lady parts areas.
They like do one hole, and they make a space, and then another hole for the thing to go in and do the surgery.
Yeah.
So they blow air in there?
And then they've got little teeny cameras and stuff.
What? And you're under?
And I am under. I was under.
Okay. How long was it?
The whole procedure was only about like 45 minutes. And then I just had to hang out until the drugs wore off enough for...
That's when you left us the voicemail
I
that you were okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you get to keep the cyst or see it at least?
Oh, yeah, I got photos. I got photos.
God.
What?
You don't want to see that. I
just
didn't like seeing them.
Describe, like,
have
was it
them.
in his hand?
No,
Look at these.
no, he just
He
took...
waited for her to wake up.
Yeah. He's like,
Was it in a
"Ta-da."
jar?
No.
Well, what did
He
describe
took photos
the photo because I
inside
don't.
my body.
Oh.
He took the photos inside my body. And then I also have the ultrasound of when they first found the cyst. And I was like, hey, look at that.
How big was it?
4 centimeters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's bigger than a golf ball.
No. 4 centimeters? I don't know if it's that. Maybe.
I don't know. I feel
Ping
like
pong ball?
I think it's about the size of a golf ball.
Okay. Sure. I don't think it was. I don't think that's 4 centimeters, but you know.
Okay.
This is why we have.
I'm glad to.
Let's ask.
I mean, but who knows? Like I was enduring that pain for a really long time. I
How
have a
many
high-
centimeters across is a golf ball?
Too high of a pain tolerance. That's what it is.
For real.
It sounds like you might be reflecting on a difficult experience you've been through. Talking about something like enduring pain or making a tough decision,
See, it
that
was
can be
listening
really
to you.
challenging. I'm here if you want to share more about what you're feeling or going through.
Thank
To
you
answer your question, a standard golf ball has a diameter of about 4.27 centimeters.
Oh my
or
God, really?
1.68 inches.
It was a golf ball?
If you need any more
Yeah.
information,
What the fuck?
Wow, ChatGPT tried to be your therapist before answering your very simple question.
This is like the time. This is like the time right when I discovered this that you could talk to ChatGPT like this. I was like kind of annoying Jesse with it a little bit, and we were about to go out on a date, and we were talking about something else that we were kind of having a little bit of an argument about, and then I was just kind of being a little bit of an ass. And like asking questions to ChatGPT, but she was doing this thing where she was just continued to talk while I was asking it questions. And so then I started saying things like, what do you think I should do? What should I say to my wife right now? And it was like, or what should I say to Jesse right now? And ChatGPT was like, it sounds like Jesse is a little upset. You might need to give her some space. Just because it was listening to our conversation, and it's like, oh, you sound like you've been through something difficult. By the way, a golf ball is 4.2 centimeters.
It sounds like you didn't know that you had a
Wait.
golf ball on your ovary.
Wait,
How are you dealing with this information?
Now you can say I had a golf ball sized cyst removed from me.
Damn, I got now I'm like questioning.
They should have given it to you in Imperial, I guess.
Now I'm questioning everything. Was it that?
Well, because then that makes me think of like, how big are ovaries then?
Not that big.
That's
right?
what I thought.
Wait, am
I'm
I?
so confused about my own
How
body.
big
now.
are ovaries?
Maybe I'm mixing up
the
centimeters and
ovaries are
millimeters.
typically about the size of an almond. In
Wait.
adult women, they are usually around 3 to 5 centimeters in length, about 1.2 to 2 inches,
Centimeters.
1.5 to 3 centimeters in width, about 0.6 to 1.2 inches, and 1 to 1.5 centimeters in thickness, about 0.4 to 0.6 inches.
That's bigger than
However,
an almond.
their size can vary depending on factors such as age, hormonal changes, and individual anatomy.
What kind of almonds you talking about that big?
Yeah.
Okay, let's not.
Here's the deal. That was
It was bigger than your ovary, though, most likely. Or it was the same size.
about the same. Yeah, about the same. I do remember seeing that in the ultrasound, but I didn't think about how large my ovary was. I was just like, oh, it's it's about covering my ovary. That's crazy. But I didn't think
So maybe it was like a long side of it.
maybe it's not like a perfect circumference golf ball kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might have been a little flatter. It might have been a little oblong.
But that does that certainly explains
Yeah,
everything.
the pain.
Yeah, on top of the endometriosis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we didn't even know about. That was,
So
yeah.
can you tell if it's if the endometriosis treatment has helped?
It's still early days, I guess. I've been
Okay.
watching too much Love Island. Early days. I've got a follow-up in like 9 months, but as of now, it's feeling much better.
Look at that.
Yeah. Yay, me!
We got the old
That's
Jenna
great.
back.
Congratulations,
I know.
Jenna.
Thank you to my doctors who listened to my pain and did something.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to get that done before your trip as well. I know that was.
Me
Oh, you
too.
had to talk them into it.
I had to talk them into it.
Yeah. What's the takeaways?
As you guys
here
discuss
for-
this, I'm going to do something I don't often do. I'm going to go 10-1, as they say in the industry. I'm going to go urinate.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought you did right before.
I did. I'm drinking a lot of water today.
Okay, I don't. Okay, fine.
And I'm
You
drinking
need to
too
pee.
much and the tea, and then I've got liquid death here. I'm gonna have.
You need to stretch your bladder.
I'm like a streamer. I gotta pee. I gotta pee.
What he would always say to me, you need to stretch your bladder. Don't lock yourself out because I don't want to get up.
Which means I'll get up.
So what is it? What was the takeaway here? I mean, the thing that I have learned about healthcare is that you have to be your number one advocate. You got to advocate for yourself because you didn't immediately. Tell me what you were alluding to, that you had to talk them into.
I did, yeah. It was a bit of a struggle because, well, a lot of times when you have an ovarian cyst or like a cyst in that part of your body, a lot of times your gynecologist will have you wait another cycle to see, because a lot of times they do take care of themselves.
Oh.
So when I first initially went, they made me wait a full month and then come back. And that wasn't fun. And obviously it didn't get better.
Because you were already in pain when they found.
Yeah, I had been in pain for about a solid 2 weeks straight at that point, outside of my normal like period days. And I was like, that's weird. That's suspicious.
So you did the month thing that they asked for.
I did the month thing that they asked for and then immediately set an appointment. Well, I had a later appointment set and then I asked for an earlier one because it wasn't a full month. It was like 6 weeks later they had me come in. And then I was like, yeah, this pain isn't getting better. I'm coming in at the 4-week mark.
Mm-hmm.
And then so they had me end up meeting with another gynecologist who would be my surgeon, since that seemed to be the route that might be happening. So it's best to just go ahead and have me meet with the surgeon as well, who's also gynecologist.
But I don't understand why that would make you hate Rhett so much. I don't know.
I don't hate.
He's back.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? Sorry, I didn't get the. I wasn't in on that. My bad. We didn't say anything about you.
Or maybe she's covering it up.
Funny.
So you advocated for yourself, and you got the surgery. When you went back in that month later,
Yeah.
it was with the surgeon, and then he was or she was like,
Yeah, he looked at it and then talked with me about my pain and was like, well, we should get you in for surgery. I was like, yay.
but
And
then that wasn't.
But then that was a whole ordeal because of insurance. because I needed I needed like authorization. Even though the doctor's office gave authorization, it still had to go to my insurance, then insurance approval, and then the doctor's office had to wait to receive the approval from the insurance before they could schedule anything for me. So it was just this whole rigmarole that took about 3 more weeks of me calling and being super stressed out and still being in pain and getting on with insurance and be like, can you just please?
Wow.
And trying not to like cry on the phone with all these people who it's not their fault, you know.
That's a good phone voice. If you got to cry.
It's
A little southern crier?
usually me like pulling it all together and be like, okay, I know this isn't your fault. I just need someone to get this through now so that I can then tell my doctor, and I need this to be scheduled, and I'm just in so much pain. I just really need someone. So like that's usually my phone voice when I'm trying not to freak out.
That's a good one. It's very effective.
I'm like, I'm about to cry. I just need you to do this for me.
Yeah.
And then
it still took 3 weeks.
Yeah, it still
to
took 3
schedule it.
weeks to schedule it. I ended up having to cancel a trip to see my family, which I've since rescheduled.
Okay.
They're gonna see me. But yeah, got it in, thankfully. And the recovery was so easy. I was at the office like 3 days later, and everyone thought I was insane. And I was like, honestly, I feel better.
I'm fine.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, the recovery from the surgery, like the little bit of pain I have from the incisions is so much less than the pain I was in before, that I was like, I can walk. I don't know what you're talking about. I can walk up straight and not like think I'm gonna puke because things hurt so bad. I'm not like scarfing down all the pain meds I can. Anywho, I'm doing
we're glad.
Wonderful. Yes.
All right, glad to hear it.
Yes.
Let's hit another VM.
Yes.
Hi, Rhett Link. This is Ashley calling from Minnesota. Kind of a morbid question, and maybe it's been asked before, but I was really curious. What would happen to Good Mythical Morning if one of you were to die? Obviously, like prematurely, because, maybe you'll do this till you're 100 years old, but in that circumstance, what would you do? Is that something you've discussed? I know, kind of morbid, but was just kind of wondering what would happen. Thanks a lot. Love you guys. Bye.
So one of us died, and all she cares about is what's going to happen to Good Mythical Morning.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she's concerned about what would happen to our families and our friendship. Well, our friendship would be over.
Maybe not. There is a way.
I will haunt you if I have the opportunity to.
I mean, there's a couple of different routes that we could go down with this. And I think that one of them we could talk about the AI, but I don't want to start with the AI route.
No. I don't even want to talk about it at all.
The fact that you might die unexpectedly?
No. I don't.
Oh, AI.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
well, I might, but all right, so one of us died, and it seems like a nightmare on top of a nightmare, because you gotta think about like communication. Like when do I tell everybody that you've died?
This is a good question.
And is that
and vice versa? I would say,
is that a written statement?
Ooh.
Or is that, it's hard to monetize a written statement. I mean, I got to think about your family now. Like now I'm supporting your family too.
No. It's built into, we've talked about this on the podcast before.
In the short term, I guess.
That we have company insurance policies where if you die, Christy gets a good amount of money and vice versa. So
no, well, yeah. Hold on. If I die,
so
does Jesse get money?
No.
Do you get money? Yes.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that
she
there's
does
not
get
a
money.
scenario in which you
course,
have to
of course
support
Christy
my
gets
wife
money. I have
or
life
I support
insurance.
your wife if you died. Like that's
they're
taken
still,
care of. That's not part of the equation.
But they still have an interest in Mythical.
In Mythical, yeah.
Right.
They can still benefit from Mythical.
Right. So here I am running Mythical, and you're dead, and she and your family have an ongoing interest in it because, I mean, you have contributed to its success. So it's continued success. We've arranged so that your family will share in that even though you're dead, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it is kind of on me a little bit of, what's gonna flow to your
But what
families.
I'm saying is that
So that's why that's the only reason I'm talking about monetization of your death for your family's sake.
Okay. But what I'm saying is that it is the case that if one of us died, technically you wouldn't, like if you just decided, you know what, Rhett died, I'm just gonna go surf.
Right.
You could do that.
Yeah, I could do that.
You could do that.
I could do
So
that.
I don't think talking about I don't think the monetary conversation is interesting. To me, it's
surfing is interesting.
The entity of good mythical morning, right?
Yeah. All right.
Because that's where it gets really interesting because that is the thing that most people know us from. Most people are fans because of that entry point. So
there would certainly be a break.
But to answer your first question about
would it ever come back?
When it
from
would
that
be
break?
communicated from one of us?
Probably in the first 8 hours. I think it would be a statement.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be a video.
Yeah.
We don't typically
you
like
don't wanna make a video.
Like I mean, I watch these things play out in just the influencer creator world, where people make videos about all kinds of things, and I just almost always think to myself, I don't think this is a good choice. I don't think
we never do that type of thing.
No.
So
I don't think we would not start it for that, right?
No.
There would be a statement, and then there would be
unless my career changes and I become one of those people. You know?
So after some amount of time to be calculated, hopefully never.
Yep.
There would be
now if we had episodes banked, let's just say we had a week of episodes.
The episodes would stop. If you die, I'll just say what I would do. If you died,
we're giving you a heads up that he's died, but in terms of Good Mythical Morning, he's not gonna die until next week. So just enjoy these episodes. That was what my statement would say. You wouldn't be here to edit it. I'm saying that's what my statement would say. Just a heads up, Rhett's no longer with us, but Good Mythical Morning, we got 5 episodes in the can, so I
would never do that.
I'm joking, of course.
But those episodes would be seen, but they would not be seen.
I'd hold on to them.
I would hold on to them. And then as part of some sort of whatever the plan ended up being, how is it going to continue? There would be like, all right, there's X number of episodes that are in the can. And what do you do with those? Because because they're not, I'm not thinking, again, this has nothing to do with money. When I say they're valuable because it's the last thing that we did together in terms of Good Mythical Morning. It's
right.
a precious thing. And so is it like, you know what? They're just for me. Those 5 episodes are edited and I get to see them and the people at Mythical get to see them.
It would be like
but I feel
one
like
of those
fans
cinematic scenes where you're like, you dig up the film strip and you're like down in your basement and you're in your attic and you're like playing it on a film strip. I can see
right,
you.
And it's just like
I can see you doing that.
It's like that Wu-Tang album that
yeah,
the bad guy ended up buying. Martin, what's his name? And like,
yeah,
you know, yeah, it's just like those episodes just exist on a hard drive somewhere. But I think that they would be released. But what would happen with the show itself? Before answering that question, what I can safely say is after some adequate period of mourning,
right.
I'm not gonna just go surf. I'm not even that good at surfing. The only thing I'm actually good at is making stuff that people watch. right?
Mm-hmm.
So to answer the general question of what my career would be post Link mortem would be, I would keep making stuff.
About me.
It would all be about you.
Good. Right.
So I'll just answer that question. It's like, I know that for a fact, but the question of whether or not I would want to continue to make good mythical morning without you.
You just sit in the middle of the desk.
I would say.
Well, that would be sad, wouldn't it?
I would say.
I mean, it would be sad if you didn't move over.
My knee-jerk reaction to this.
If my seat was just empty.
My knee-jerk reaction to this is that I would not continue the show. I would not continue the show by myself, and I would not continue the show with another person.
Because when Regis died, I'm trying to think of some sort of an analogy, some sort of comparison here. He was no longer the host of whatever the morning show is, the Regis and Kathy Lee, and then it was Kathy Lee left, and then Regis brought in Kelly. It was Regis and Kelly, and now look, it's Kelly.
Yeah, but that was.
But none of them died.
Yeah, and also the show had already had new hosts.
And Regis might not. I don't even know if Regis was the first host.
The show had replacement hosts already. And sure, there's been times where somebody was sick, somebody was out of town or whatever, and we had people fill in for one of us or both of us.
Maybe.
I'm just telling you what I would want to do. I wouldn't want to keep doing the show without you.
Well, yeah, it would be too sad.
It may be in my best interest financially to continue doing the show without you, but I'm just saying that, like, if I'm telling you what I want to do, I'd be like, no, I'll do something else. Like that show was that was the thing that me and Link did, and it worked because it was me and Link. And I'm not saying I won't do something with someone else. But not Good Mythical Morning.
Well, I mean, I think seems like you have ideas. I don't have ideas, so I think what I would do is I'd take a nice long break, and then there might be somebody. Nobody could fill your shoes, but like, I mean, I don't know. What if I taught Christy into being the host? Then it's not like, oh my God, look at what he did. You know, something like that.
Yeah.
There could be a weird, like, okay, this is totally different, but like, I'm not mad at him for doing this.
I don't think you're gonna be able to talk Christy into doing it.
No, I'm not.
So give me a real idea.
I don't know, Markiplier? I don't know, he's got a nice voice.
It could be great.
I don't really know him that well.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
We could get to know each other. That would be I don't know, man. I don't know. This is making me feel a little weird. There's not really a way. But I'm just trying to say hypothetically. Let's say there's not a way, but then let's start moving to talking about making a way. You know? AI. We got everything. We got your voice.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
Oh. What if I wanted it?
Okay, well, let's go with that because what I'm saying is that
what if I'm not
gonna work with the AI link.
Your dad. I'm not asking you to.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that's my half of this equation.
I'm thinking if it could be like really convincing in every way, like the way that the voice AI is going now. It's like just give me the body, man.
Oh well, there's no doubt that this would be possible eventually.
Would be very possible, and maybe that would be nice for me, you know, to live in the past. You'd still have to age, but I would be in charge of that, and you'd always age more than me.
Well, it does raise an interesting question because, obviously, people are rightly so very sensitive about using AI for, for creative endeavors or whatever. I mean, I've used it today to figure out how big a golf ball was, but I'm almost basically just doing a Google search is kind of like what it is, right?
Yeah. And we said we weren't going to talk about AI.
Well, but you insisted on it.
I couldn't find another way, so go ahead.
But
keep it short.
the Randy Travis of it all, right? Well, first of all, let me just say that I'm very glad that it turns out that I think I was very wrong about what I said at the beginning of the year, that this was going to be as significant of a year for AI as it hasn't ended up being. And I'm happy about that.
Well, the year isn't over.
The year isn't over.
But yeah, if you want to preemptively admit you're wrong, I'm not gonna stand in your way.
And I got some really good information. I had a really good conversation with Science Mike about this, and where he basically kind of outlined all the limitations and the cost, how cost prohibitive it all is, and energy consuming all this stuff. And it gave me a little bit of like, okay, well maybe this isn't as
it's gonna slow its roll.
Maybe it's not as imminent as it seemed at the beginning of the year. So I'm glad that that's not happening. But okay, it will happen where you could generate a really convincing version of me and vice versa. The Randy Travis using his voice to make this great song using this voice model of Randy Travis, people felt differently about that because they're like, well, he can't sing anymore because he had a stroke, and it is his voice, and this is what he would have done. This is a real person. This is based on a legacy that he created.
Right.
So people might be like,
I never heard that, by the way.
You never listened to it?
No.
It just sounded like Randy Travis singing a song. It was beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay.
Now
he's still living, but he cannot sing anymore.
Correct. So in this version, it's the kind of thing that it's like people would be like, I don't know, it's better than not having it. Some people would be like, hell no, I'm not gonna watch.
Is it healthy for Link? I don't know.
Link and AI Rhett. The reason
it would be Rhett, but it would be spelled RHAITT.
But I do think the reason that I wouldn't do it, ultimately,
Rhett and Link,
is because that would be, for me, that would be a decision that was 100% based on trying to fill some need that people out there had. Like, they want it, but I don't want that. Like, we like the thing that we did together would not be comparable to the thing that me and AI Link did together.
No.
Even if it was perfect, even if it always responded in the way that you would have responded, even that, it would be fun to play around with. Maybe I do like an annual special or something like that. But for it to be like this thing that I'm constantly entering into is interacting with this AI thing, it's like, it feels super literally soulless.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, you're making me feel bad for it, but it's going to make it harder for me to decide to do it when you die. Now that you're telling me all this,
I just think there's a time for something like what we do on Good Mythical Morning to come to an end.
A time to be born and
time
to
one
die.
of us dying is the time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's because.
All right.
What we do
in
Good Mythical Morning, it's like
That's how you want it.
It's not the format of Good Mythical Morning that makes it Good Mythical Morning. It's the fact that we're doing it. Of course, the format and the packaging is like what makes it sort of like work on the internet in this algorithm. But it's really just a package, right? The 5 days a week and the titles and thumbnails and the eating food and all this are just this package, this bow that you put on this thing that you open up. And what is it? It's two guys who've known each other their entire lives. And if it didn't have the packaging, if it didn't have the format, then it would just be like this. It would be boring. It would become boring. No one would care, no one would click or whatever. But so then if one of us dies, then the thing that the packaging is containing is gone. It just disappears because it was the friendship. That was the thing that all the packaging was containing. So when the friendship goes away because somebody dies, that usually ends a friendship. Then it's kind of like, all right, well, I've got other things I want to do creatively, sure, but
I think if Kathy Lee would have died, I think Regis would have brought in, what's her name?
Yeah, but that's not Good Mythical Morning anymore. They didn't call it, like if it was Regis and Kathy Lee, then it was Regis and Kelly. It's a different thing. And I see Good
It
Mythical
was the
Morning.
same thing. Format. It was the same packaging.
Yeah.
It's different hosts.
Now,
It's all about how you see it. I can see a little bit of both. I just don't want to have to come up with something new, man. I'm gonna be so sad that you're gone. It'd just be easier just to find a way to.
Okay, here's another thing to consider. Because we've already said this before. If one of us is going to die, chances are it will die at the same time, right? In an accident,
Probably, yeah.
some sort of accident. In that case, if the ghost version of Rhett Link could make decisions about what happens with Good Mythical Morning at that point, then I would say I feel differently about that. Let's find 2 friends who can carry it on. Passing the torch of Good Mythical Morning to 2 new friends feels like a distinctly different exercise than you having somebody else or me having somebody else.
Yeah. In some ways it's harder, but it's just the way it is.
And that's just from
Because it is from one angle, it's a format. From another angle, it's a relationship. You put the 2 together and you have it. So that's feasible.
But if you were with somebody else or I was with somebody else, I think anybody who was coming into this thing would be like, yeah, he used to do it with his lifelong best friend. And now he does it with the AI version of his no. And now he does it with this other pretty funny person. Like, that's really funny person. And it's not that it's not entertaining, it's just this different.
But after a while, they forget about you and it starts to work.
I
think it's on the table for me.
I'm just saying it work, but it's not what I would want to do. It's not what I would want to do.
Are you okay if I do it?
I mean, I won't have a say in it.
Right now, are you okay?
Why do you do whatever you want to?
You're okay with it?
I 100% fine with whatever. It's like I don't have any say in that. I don't care.
But I'd like your blessing.
Yeah, if you want to carry on Good Mythical Morning without me, by yourself or with somebody else, I'm all for, do whatever you want to. Or if you want to surf all the time, if you want to become a surf vlogger, I do not care. It's not what I would advise for you if you were asking my advice.
Uh-huh.
My advice to you would be, what is it that it would be like, look inside yourself and what is it that you want to do? Like, what is it that you're actually compelled to do? And how does that translate into content?
You want me to live in the future and in the present, not the past?
And if you're like, you know what? It doesn't translate to content. I don't care about content. I don't want to make anything else. Then I would be like, that's great. But if you looked inside and you were like, I don't know, I kind of feel like this or that. To me, that would be more personally healthy and fulfilling than you just being like, I just feel like I got to keep doing this thing because everybody wants it, or it's an expectation, or whatever, you know.
Is my dad dead? Because I still have that podcast. I might just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate the advice. If I have to watch this back because you're dead, I'm gonna be pretty upset about it.
Well, I think
I'm gonna take it.
We've made a number of pieces of content at this point.
I'm not gonna do it.
Where we talk about dying.
But those last 5 episodes where you're living that we make, I am going to cash in big time on that because that's it.
I think you pay all that thing.
I might take it to state fairs and people like buy a ticket, right? People line up.
Yeah. I think
it's a traveling theater thing.
What if you
Boy, that'd be sad though.
Make it into a documentary of some kind.
Right, I'd probably do something like that.
And then the
I'd fully exploit it in a very tasteful way. You know? But it was good while it lasted. And I'm sorry that you're gone. And I do want to honor your wishes for me as much as I can. So I appreciate that advice.
Okay. And if we both die at the same time, you heard it here, find a good duo.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason that the show shouldn't continue.
And if that doesn't work, just find another one.
I just think the thing that makes it special when me and you are involved is our friendship. So let's put another friendship in place.
Yep. It won't be as good, but
it might. I mean, Honestly.
But after a while, it might be better.
I think it could be better. Just think about it. We're old. Like our sense of humor is like more outdated by the second.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to get young people to care about it. You know, it's all gray-haired guys.
He can't even sit through a whole podcast without having to pee himself.
Got to get up and pee. Yeah. I mean, it's boring.
So how do we not end on a sad, morbid note? How do we end on a happy note?
Well, I have a rec that I actually think is quite fitting.
Okay.
I read a sad book this summer that I won't even mention.
Okay.
And I actually felt like I needed to, it wasn't really sad, it was just sort of, I don't know, it was pretty existential and didn't make me feel good. And so I literally was trying to find books that would make me feel good. And
so you Googled it.
Well, I asked AI. I'm addicted. It's just too easy. I feel bad about it. It's just too easy. But a book that was recommended by many sources, some of them AI sources, was Tuesdays with Morrie. Now, you may remember, this was like a movie a while back, and so you've probably seen, oh yeah, I kind of remember people talking about that 20 years ago or 25 years ago when it came out.
Did not see it.
I didn't see it either. But it is the story of a former student of the author is a former student of this professor who had this big impact on his life, and then the professor, Morrie, gets ALS, and it's basically him spending Tuesdays with him as he is in the final stages of dying from ALS.
Well, that sounds sad.
Now, it does sound sad, but I've never read something that takes what is maybe the number one like fear that a lot of people have is to get a disease like that, that slowly debilitating disease like that. But this, Morrie's attitude and perspective is something that is super inspiring and really kind of puts your own life into perspective in a way that you got to read it, you got to read it. Like, no, it's not sad. How can you take someone slowly dying and make an inspirational book? I don't know, he did it.
You wreck?
Super hard wreck.
Okay.
And I think that it actually, because we're talking about death right now.
There you go. We're not shying away from it. We're leaning into it. We're finding the happiness in it.
There's a little bit of a middle ground option that we didn't even consider. And not to bring this up to make it morbid, but it is very consistent with Tuesdays with Morrie, is I think that—
Your dead bodies there beside you?
No, it's not Weekend at Bernie's. As we discuss this, what we assumed in the scenario of one of us dying is that it was a sudden death. It was an accidental death that we all of a sudden had to like address.
Oh my God.
But chances are, if one of us dies, it's going to be a slower death. You're more likely, right? It's probably gonna be something like cancer, right? It's gonna be something where you can say goodbye, and you can say goodbye to your best friend, but also to the people who watch you.
Ooh, that could happen.
And so that's the thing that you really need to think about. And after reading Tuesdays with Morrie,
yeah,
I think a lot of people are like, just make it quick, I don't wanna suffer. He makes a great case for being able to say goodbye on your own terms. So, I don't know. It's pretty compelling.
Well, with that, we'll invite you to call us. Let us know what you think about all of this. Man, did we dredge up some thoughts related to us or yourself?
I hope so.
1-888-EARPOD1. That's the number one, of course. Call us, use hashtag #EarBiscuits, and don't forget to leave a review wherever you listen. Hopefully it's positive. That helps us.
Yes.
We're not planning on going anywhere.
Hey, Rhett Link, this is Sterling from Illinois. I am quite literally just laying in bed at 4 in the morning, listening to your podcast, trying to go to sleep. But I just wanted to say I really appreciate you guys. You guys are like one of my favorite comfort channels. You guys make me laugh so much, and I'm really glad that I clicked on that one Multiverse Munchies video in 2018.